Okay, so welcome folks. This is the monthly webinar for the Salesforce tips and tricks. Running a little bit late this morning, I apologize. Little technical difficulties on our side. So what I wanted to do was just kind of go through a couple of our tips today. The new tips for next month are already posted up. I did those earlier this week, touching on custom buttons and Lightning Edition, touching on form design and Lightning Edition, a couple things, right? So as I've promised over the last couple months that I'm going to get a lot better at Lightning Edition because it seems like that's the way that we're going here for Salesforce. And it's just getting that way. You can see I've already got my thing here for like my events, my recent stuff, all open leads. Other tips and tricks have showed how to do that there, okay? Okay, so just to get to it, one of our first tips is talking about the bookmark bar, okay? It is something to do with Lightning, and as I've said, I'm starting to use it every day or starting to get a little bit better with it here and there. My Outlook connection doesn't work with Lightning still, which is kind of bothering me, so it's a custom one. It's Link.360 is what I use. One of, I think, the best apps out there for Outlook linking. It still doesn't work very well with Lightning, so that's why I constantly go back to Classic. But Bookmarks is something that, just to kind of show things, it's along the lines of where we are here, right? I mean, it's favorites. It's the Bookmarks is exactly what you're used to using when it comes to you know, your internet surfing, whatever it is. So you can bookmark almost anything you want, which is really, really good. And we can even edit it and rearrange them, things like that, okay? So what I've done is, like, I've got all open leads, and I can click this. There's my leads view, right? I can go as well, and I can say, oh, we're getting my accounts with customers. So I can go here. But if I go to, like, this one here, this item media record, I can actually even bookmark this and say, boom, there it is, right? And now it's in my list of bookmarks. So you can do this for a way to get to a quick jump to all your favorite records, maybe something you're working on this week. You're constantly looking it up, but you can pretty much bookmark anything you want. Now, let's say I don't want item media in here. I would hit my edit favorites, and from there I can rearrange them, drag them around, right? Or I can simply delete it. I can also rename it, right? If I want to say, like, opportunity record or active opportunity or something like that, you can do that in here, or I can just delete it, which is what I'm going to do. So if I delete this record, I say okay, now I'm back to my 2 and I'm done. So that list is very manageable, very easy. It's a real quick and dirty tip for you today, but it's one of those things that is part of Lightning Edition that people aren't seeing very often. Okay, and again, it's kind of like to work towards those individuals that are used to the internet, used to bookmarking pages. You know, the star is what we're used to in, like, you know, in Chrome, that type of thing, right? So that's what we've got there. All right. Here's your plus button. Just to kind of go over, there's your plus button. You can add what I want in there. That's nothing new. There's your help, and this is my setup. We spent a lot of time in this setup, actually, and this one here would be any alerts that I might have. Okay, all right. That's about it for there. So now let's go. Now we're going to work with views in Lightning Edition. Okay, now anyone that knows me and has worked with me before, the views themselves are the most important part of what I think Salesforce is, right? I mean, you've got these lists. You can scroll through these lists. You can go through everything. You can change the view and say, I want, you know, my accounts with update value. This is them there. I can change this, and I can go into my other ones and say there's accounts with no type along those lines. Okay. We've talked about in the past that you can do things like this for the Kanban. You can do that as well instead of just a list view, right? I'm just going to go right to the table view, right? And then we've got it in here. I can even edit like that, like we used to, which is good. For a while, I think that was kind of missing. So we can do the edits. We can also do this, check, 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 and we can do some edits as well, right? We can edit the list. Sorry, edit list is different. That's what we're going to do today. So, you know, you can do this, and you can click in here and say my current, and you can do update all 5. So your list editing is there as it used to be. You know, your global edit changes and working with the view, right? So how do I get them in here? Like, and this is the biggest pain, right? Because it used to be in Classic, it was just create a new view. There was a button over to the right and you just did it. Now it's actually more in the gear, okay? So we have the new, let me just scroll down a little bit here, right? So you've got your new, you've got your clone, rename, you can share it. You can actually do a lot more here than you used to be able to do, because you used to be able to just say create a new and then it would all be done on that side, okay? So that's what it would be here, right? I actually do like this because if I wanted to edit the filter is one thing. If I wanted to do the views themselves as to what's in there and what columns, that's the other piece. But let's just scroll through. I'm just referring back to my tip because I wrote it a month ago just to make sure I don't miss anything with you guys, okay? All right, so we go into the gear, right? And we're going to go into there and we're going to say, let's just go into existing object, go there, right? It's the gear icon, okay? And we're going to edit the view, right? So we're going to go here and we're going to edit the list filters, but you can also say select fields to display, right? So we've got new view, we've got clone this one, right? We've got sharing. The filters is this. This is what I like, right? Because I'm seeing it right here, okay? So I can say show me, I can add another one, I'm going to add another filter here, and I would say here's all my fields, and I can change that around, right, and go from there, right? In this case, I've got equals, right? And and the value is right here, sorry, not equal to, and I've got in here closed or closed no block of time. So these are the people that are my accounts, my active accounts. They're either current or follow-up. If I wanted to, I could change it to equals to current or follow-up, and away we go, right? I'm going to cancel out. But with that, what you've got is your filters allows you to arrange the criteria. You can either add filter logic where you do the 1 and 2 or the or, okay? All that kind of stuff, and you get it going on in here. So you're seeing your views and where they are. Now, the other piece, though, would be the fields to display, okay? And this is where we move things around, okay? We can move state around. If I want to put this down a little bit, I can, all right? I've got other fields if I want to bring them in. Like I could actually do, where's my last activity? My last activity date is not in here. So I'm going to bring this in here, boom, bring it in, and I'm going to take that guy and I'm going to move him up and say save. And now it's all right there. There's my last activity date. So you're seeing the point is that I'm actually able to do this and see this update to the view as I'm working in it, right? As opposed to the old way that you had to go into the view, make the changes, look at the column, then save it again. This way is just a lot more efficient, I guess you could say. I find it a lot quicker to get in there. It's a single touch right here. Those that have a Surface or an iPad or a MacBook that you're a touch screen that you can do it right there and do this is great, right? Reset column widths, that would do it that way. It will actually make it for the, it puts it back to the default, right? We'll go from there, right? We can sort, okay? You can clip it as well. This is new. I actually just noticed this. So this is nice because I can do this here, bring this in, and you say, oh, it's not there. But if I say wrap text, now you see that it's in there. Gives me a lot more real estate. It's nice to have, okay? Works well with descriptions, notes, okay, like longer phrases, maybe some multi-select lists. So it's not bad to do that, okay? You can also click and sort. I can sort by last activity date, right? Do it again this way. And you can see those and where we are, okay? And away we go. So now these are accounts with no type. So what I'd have to do is go into this and say, these right here, they are a customer right now. You know, we do that and we save it. I can do this one and say, let's find another one that is a customer that I know of. This is how I kind of manage my accounts to make sure that they're up to date because I use these for other pieces, right? So we do that. I might say Ohio National is a prospect. The only thing I don't like about it is at the bottom I have to actually click save now, and now they're up to date. If I refresh this, over here instead of over there. This refresh button is right here now. Boom, there it is. Now those go away. Okay. My edit is the edit the field. I guess I'm in there. I don't like that very much. That button's not useful. And then I've got my charts if I want to do it this way. And I can say, you know, accounts by industry, but I can create a chart and put it in here. This, to be honest with you, is kind of a little bit of a cheat that I believe they stole from Microsoft, because Dynamics has these charts always next to their views. So that's a little add-in there. And here's my filters. Again, you can go to a lot of them here, and there it is. Okay, and that is your view that we're looking at. Okay, so we can do a new. You know, if you want to do a new one, you would just change here. Sorry, not new account. Gear, new view. You give it a name. Only I can see it. All users. That type of thing, right? You would add in your filters. That's the next step that comes in, right? And then you select your fields, just what we did before. You're just walking through the steps a little bit differently. That is how you work with a view now inside of Lightning. A little bit different. Okay. All right. So the other piece that I wanted to kind of bring in was just more of a discussion topic. You know, and the one person that's actually attending as well, one of you guys is actually, I've been working with you on the campaign side, and this is more of a, how do I use campaigns and what are they inside of Salesforce? Okay. Right now, as you can see, I don't actually see these. Okay. So a lot of times, it used to be a lot easier to manage the tabs. Now you almost have to go here to the launcher, and then you can see your campaigns are right there. Okay. So if I do, in my tip, I actually created this campaign, right? You've got your views again. Are there any other all active, my active, recently viewed? That's fine. Okay. All active campaigns. Here we go. What you're essentially doing with a campaign is being able to track. It's a marketing person's dream, because you're able to track the actual campaign costs, the budget, what was involved in the campaign, and then draw you in to say, all right, of those, how many created opportunities? Of those opportunities, how many were closed? What was my total pipeline with that campaign? How many got closed out? How many did I lose? How much money did I make from a cost of $15,000 for a trade show floor space, right? How many opportunities came through, and how many of those actually worked out, right? So what we end up with is, I'm going to just create a new one, okay? You have to give the campaign a name. As you know, this is going to be a 2018 January Rush campaign, you know, Rush trade show. Okay, I make it active. Status in progress, plan completed. I'm going to say plan just for right now. What is it? Well, by default, they've got some in here, but you can customize these, of course, like you would in any other field. I'm just going to say it's a seminar conference. Okay, does it have a parent, which you could do, right? And a parent campaign would be more like January Rush trade shows, right? And so this is 2018. I have 2017, 2016. You have the parent in there, and that's more for a reporting thing. Okay. Okay, this is just a test. Start date is going to be January 8th, and the end date is going to be January 12th. Only because it's a trade show. You could do it as an advertising campaign and go further. If you want to add more space, you can always drag those. Right? You can drag that with that little bar there. So I'm going to say number sent. I'm going to leave that out for right now. Expected response, maybe I'll say 15%. Okay. I could say expected revenue. I want to say we want to get back $25,000 in revenue, because the budgeted cost is actually $7,500. I don't know. And the actual cost, we might not know it yet. And I say save. Okay. And there's my campaign. Right. So creating it's easy. Right. From there, what we can do is we can add new opportunities to it. We can even add in, you know, new leads, new contacts, who is actually as a part of it, right? You can upload files if you want. So this is one big retainer, you know, or I'm sorry, container for all my information about this, right? I can do new tasks. I can log a call associated with it if I want to log a call with the trade show firm. you know, or who we're working at. So all that history and everything's right in the same spot. That's what you would be doing, okay? I know I did put in a note here that says a good rule of thumb, and I know that Kelly, who's on this, knows it as well. If you want to link a set of leads to a campaign, create the campaign first, then add the leads. So when you add the leads, what happens is when you're doing, like I can add a lead right now, and I can just say this one, and say add to campaign, right? And I would say this one, I'll just say responded maybe, and then I'll say submit, right? So if I go back to my campaigns again, and I can't see it in here, it's probably, that's for another tip. How do I get campaigns in there permanently? But if I go here to my campaigns, we've got, there's 2 campaign members. Those are my people. I can also do, if I wanted to, there's the list, right? I could also do leads if I wanted to. But what I was talking about before with the leads is when you import leads, it actually asks you what campaign would you like to attribute them to. So you don't have to do it one at a time here. You can actually blast them in and say, instantly all of these will have to go here. And that's what it is, right? Because once I go to this record and I look at Waxler's, right? This is his campaign record, but let's go look at actually Scott, okay? In here, I should have in his details, okay? Here's his campaign history, and it shows me that he was added here, or he was a part of this, okay? Once we convert him, if we convert him, this will flow through as well and attach to the opportunity, okay? And then that's when, if he closes it out, then all those dollars will go back to the campaign area. Now, here's to use today's earlier tip, maybe I'm going to bookmark this so I can go back to it all the time. Here's my January rush. Okay, so there's my leads. I can also do opportunities and add a new one into this, that one that we already have, or create a new opportunity, right? Yes, yeah, I just lied right now because I can't link the existing. I can go to an opportunity and attach it, I believe. If I go to like Morgan Lewis here, I can go to my details area and I should be able to add a campaign. Right, there it is, and I can refresh this and say there it is, right? And so now if I do this correctly, it may take a little bit to get there. If I go to my January rush, I should have an opportunity at some point here, in here. See, there it is. It's just the numbers refresh as we go. So there it is. So I can see all the opportunities, but you can also create brand new ones from right here. What's the biggest issue, of course? Well, I have to search and link it to an account, right? So when you're doing it from a lead and you're following all the way through the flow, you're a lot better off doing it that way. Okay. So here's my, my opportunities, right? I've got this is my related lists. Okay. And here's my details. So my details are, what's my costs, how many are in there, how many opportunities, how many one opportunities, what's the value of the one. Okay. All this stuff is in there. For your reporting purposes, and you can put all your things in here as to what the leads are, and this is the tracking, right? This is what it's all about. So we can see, we don't have to go into each opportunity and say where to come from. Instead, we can go to the actual campaign and see what's been working with that. Okay, should be all good now. I mean, that's what I've been using this a lot more with the with the opportunities and my so on and so forth. Little teaser for next month. What I worked with was see how everything you go to is always related first. Well, what I can do is I can go here and say edit page. I can actually change that now, and we can say I want. That's what I was working on this week. I want to put details up first, and the details are actually the default, and I can save that. Activate it, save it, and now I should be able to go back, see that campaign, and my details is right here first. My related is right there where I think it should be. So this is what I was doing. The current tips that I said earlier this call, that they're out now. I talk about form design and how do we do form. It's come a long way in the last few months, because originally Lightning Edition you could do very little. Now you can actually do some changes to these forms. Anywho, that's it for now. I mean, you got your 3 tips, the bookmarks, working a little bit with campaigns, and then the other piece was working with views with Lightning. Like I said, all day today we spent in Lightning Edition. For those that are in Classic, go ahead and play around with it. I know one of my clients is still having a problem we're working on to try and see why they can't get to Classic, but it's getting there for me as well. Okay? All right, folks, that's it for now. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and if you need to get in touch with me, of course, any questions on this, you can leave comments to the blog post. This video should be up on YouTube a little bit later on today, if not tomorrow, if not today, tomorrow. And you can always get me at Corey, C-O-R-E-Y, at marksgroup.net, M-A-R-K-S-G-R-O-U-P.net. Thank you. Have a good one.